Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. It is November 10th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the sun rising across Pacific Ocean. Lots of cold air here up across Alaska, Gulf of Alaska. Some of this will come spilling down off the west coast of North America and create a dynamic storm system, but there's big model run-to-run discrepancy on just where the storm system is going to set up. We'll start to dive into those details as we go through the video here today. If we zoom in here, you can see the new snow still showing across the Sierra Nevada on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. Largely absent marine layer across much of the coastline as well. Mid and high level clouds from that frontal system falling apart across Northern California. And the channel's doing great, you guys. Thanks for everybody subscribing, all my new members, everybody checking back daily here. This channel is not possible without you, so much thanks to everybody out there. Look at this day in Southern Cal weather history. 1997, waterspout came ashore Newport Beach Pier. It blew a fisherman across the pier. 2000, an EF1 tornado. 1982, big snowfall for the higher terrain. And 1954, a strong storm as well. So yeah, good stuff here from the National Weather Service, San Diego, California. Looking at Sacramento, and you can see we've been talking about this storm system developing here, but there's still big discrepancy on exactly where the storm is going to place itself. And we'll try to get to those details here in a moment. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, click on that link down below. It's always more fun to watch storm roll in when you've got a weather system at your home. Now we're taking a look at the European on the left, the GFS on the right, last night's runs. We're looking at general ridge and trough position about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. You got the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. There's the Pacific Ocean. The state of California exists there. Put this into motion and you can see that cold air spill down the west coast of North America. Good agreement and a dynamic storm forming off the coast of California here. But as you can imagine, it's going to be a very fine line on just what kind of impacts are felt across the state. If this sets up a little bit further east, big precipitation totals, gustier winds, more snow across the higher terrain. A little bit further west, of course, the result is going to be much less of a dynamic system for the state of California. So lots to look at here. Now, taking a look at last night's European, actually yesterday afternoon's European run, you can see the trough form here start to bring some precipitation into the state of California, but you notice the most dynamic portions of that storm remain offshore here until later on in through the week coming up. And you can kind of see it does spread interesting precipitation amounts across Southern California and some of Central California as we go. But again, I have a feeling this is going to be changing as always as we go through the next couple of days. So I don't want to get caught up in precipitation amounts just yet. Now taking a look at the 10-meter wind gusts. So watch what comes here. You can see the strong storm go through the Pacific Northwest, and then you see our storm system forming here. And you can see it is quite a dynamic storm. Some powerful wind gusts associated with it just off the coastline right now. So any change in the track of this storm is going to have huge impacts across the state of California. So definitely something we have to watch over the next couple of days before we start to get into too many details about what we can expect. We got to get some better consistency with these model runs. This is the GFS 12Z, hot off the presses, total precipitation in inches. And as we go, you can see the storm really form off the coastline there. Big precipitation amounts, but generally stay right off the coastline. Some of this does start to move in, however, as we go through the later portion of the week. Could bring some interesting totals, especially across Southern California. Nothing to sneeze at, 1 to 2 inches across some of the higher terrain there. But as you can see, a very fine line. This sets up any further east, and it's going to include California and much more dynamic storm totals here. Looking at Los Angeles, kind of an example of what's happening here. You can see things backing up a little bit here. The timeline as of yesterday afternoon kind of pushed things back and actually lightened the precipitation up as well. But will this flop back as we go through the day today? Good questions. And we'll probably have to be checking back over the next couple of days, especially if anybody has any concerns about some of the upper elevations and the snowfall we're going to be expecting across the area, because things are likely going to change again. San Francisco, similar picture there as well. It backed up the precipitation and lowered the amounts, but will that change? You saw how close to the coastline those huge precipitation amounts were. Now looking at San Francisco on the GFS, it also did the same thing, holding that storm back to the west a little bit. Is that going to change in the models over the next 2 days? Looking at Lake Tahoe, check out some of the huge discrepancy between the ensemble runs on the European itself. Some of them showing nothing during this time frame of the mid and later this week, but some of them showing some much bigger amounts. So you can see the difficult forecast we have in front of us. Look at the GFS. Pretty good snowy solution here still for Mammoth as we go on in through Wednesday night into Thursday and Friday morning coming up here. Now, taking a look at the GFS, 500 millibar temperatures. This is hot off the presses. And what's going on here is you can see the strong storm moving to the Pacific Northwest. Our cold air, which is going to spawn the storm, drops down off the west coast. But you notice it kind of gets cut off here and doesn't allow it to be quite as progressive and move towards the west coast. So it kind of spins over the ocean here before it eventually weakens and then moves inland here. But I have a hunch this is going to change probably a couple more times as we go through the next days. So this is going to be fun to watch. Pretty dynamic storm system right on the doorstep of California here. And like I said, any switch to the east here is going to introduce California to much more dynamic impacts of that storm. This is looking at daily 2-meter minimum temperature. So this let's actually back this up so we can include today in there. And you can kind of see, you know, the Sierra, of course, and Nevada, a little bit chillier here. But we scroll through the next few days, you can kind of see the chillier temperatures potentially as we go on in through the end of the week with the storm's arrival here. Some teens showing up across some of the Sierra Nevada, and some snow would be flying here. It depends on, again, just how close that storm is going to get. Now let's look at the high temperatures here. This is starting for Saturday, tomorrow. Put that into motion. You can see a little bit of a warm up there Sunday. Then we start back down on in through next week once that storm starts to get closer to the region here. So again, lots to work out. I wish we had better a model agreement here because we had a big change yesterday holding that storm back off to the west a little bit here. So nothing to get, you know, we don't want to get caught up in details just yet. And you can probably hear the confusion in my voice trying to relay the communication on what this storm is going to do to you guys. So we're going to watch this here closely over the next couple days. But this is 6 to 10 day precipitation probability. You can still clearly see the bullseye here across much of the Southwest. 8 to 14 day. This goes through November 23rd here, below average for a lot of California, Nevada, and some of Arizona as well. But yeah, interesting stuff here, folks. I may do another video today, depending on what the 12Z European says. That should be running here anytime now. And of course, I'll be watching the models come in today. And at the latest, I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow morning. So I hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again either later today or tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.